Oh, we want to do it like this, right? Yeah. Sorry. Go.
Hi guys, how are you doing today? My name is Chelsea and I blog over at makingmanzanita.com, and I'm so excited to be with you guys today. We're going to be making 2 different types of wood signs that I have up in our farmhouse bathroom, which I just revealed a couple weeks ago. So I'm going to show you how to make 2 different types of signs. So we're going to jump right in with the first one. We are going to be using this heart wood cutout, and I got this at Michael's, so it was pre-made. It comes with this cute little like burlap sign here, and we're actually going to be painting this like an ombre style, which basically just means 2 different colors kind of with a gradient, like moving into each other. So I'm going to get to painting here, but while I get going, I would love to know where you guys are tuning in from, so let us know in the comments, and then also let us know what the weather is like where you are. We are in Central Oregon today, and it is super hot and sunny here. We just actually got back from the water park a few minutes ago. So it was really fun. So yeah, I'd love to know where you guys are tuning in from and what the weather's like. So I am just getting going. I'm gonna paint just the base coat on this wood sign here. And the color I'm using today is called Sea Glass, and I'll just put it right here so he can zoom in on it. And it's just a acrylic craft paint. So you can just get it at the store. I think I pay like 99 cents per bottle for those, and I usually wait till they go on sale. And I am just using a foam brush to apply it. These are just really cheap foam brushes. I usually use them like 3 or 4 times before they're kind of trash. But that's why I buy them, because they're cheap and they're great for this acrylic paint. So
yeah, it seems like everywhere is warm.
yeah, it's really warm this time of year.
Super hot. In Canada, Georgia,
nice.
Californians, they're all pretty hot.
Always.
So what is this color?
This color is called Sea Glass, and this is kind of the color that I would call it like my color, because it's kind of inspired all the decor in our house. I kind of have it in every room at this point, and it's just kind of a good, I really like choosing like a color for your house to kind of go through each of the rooms, because it kind of makes the whole house feel cohesive. So definitely choose a color. If you're going to choose like a color for your house, choose one that you like. And I love this kind of a mint green. So it definitely, this is like my pop of color throughout my whole house. A lot of the rest is just neutral. So, all right. So we're almost done painting this. This is like just a raw wood, so it does soak in quite a bit of paint. And as you can see, I kind of already started because I didn't want it to take too long on the video, but I painted the edges black. And I'm just gonna show you how I did that here in a minute. We'll paint I left one little spot without being painted, so I can show you how that's done. So as I mentioned at the very beginning of the video, if you're just tuning in, we are painting a couple wood signs today, and I'm gonna show you a few different methods. This sign is an ombre painted sign. And ombre just means that we're kind of moving from 2 different colors. So this is our base color, the sea glass color. And then we're going to make it darker at the bottom and lighter at the top. And I'll show you that technique here in a minute. And
a close up of this again.
Yeah.
People are asking.
Okay, yeah. Sea Glass. It's by Americana. And I've got it both. I mean, you can buy it on Amazon. I have links to it in the blog post for this tutorial. You can get it at Joann's, Michael's, pretty much anywhere that sells that brand. And I'm really excited to announce that we are going to be actually giving away this sign that we're making to one of you lucky winners. So we are just going to do the base color today in the ombre technique that I talked about, and then I'm not going to stencil anything on it. I'm going to let the winner, whoever wins this, choose what they want stenciled on, and I will make it custom for them, and then I'll ship it to them. So if you want to enter to win this, this is in addition to the giveaway that Hometalk is doing by commenting. This is a separate giveaway. So you can head on over to my blog, which is makingmanzanita.com. And I think Jordan's going to put a link to that in the comments here over at Hometalk. So she's gonna put a link and you can go over and enter to win this sign. So that's kind of a fun little twist to today. All right, so we've got our base color here. And I'm gonna just show you one other step here. So as I mentioned, I painted the edges black before we started. I'll probably need to go up later and kind of touch up where the green has kind of gone over this, but I'm just gonna show you how I did that last little part. And this is just a regular black craft paint. It's another brand, but kind of the same thing. So you just wanna, and you could, if you were making this sign yourself, you could totally leave this just the plain wood color, but I think it kind of makes it look just a little more finished by painting the edges. I don't know, what do you guys think?
Some people said they paint this type of wood with a sponge.
Like a kitchen sponge. Interesting.
I
guess this is pretty much a sponge. These foam brushes are the same material as sponges, so that would make sense.
Very nice.
Okay. So I'm gonna go back in there later, probably with a tinier brush to get in there. I have a smaller paintbrush that'll get in there. I don't wanna mess up our front. Okay, so that's kind of just the base step one. If you're doing a gradient, like an ombre style paint, you just want to paint your base color on the bottom, and then we're going to go follow it up with some different layering techniques to get the ombre look. But we want to wait till this dries. It's still kind of wet and I don't really want to mess it up. So we're going to hop on over to our second sign that we're making today. We're going to be hopping back and forth between the two due to dry times. So the second type of sign we're making today is a chipped paint, or like chippy paint wood sign. And this is the base. This is kind of covered up, so if you want to zoom in right here to kind of see what it looks like. This is a really, really old piece of wood. My husband actually tore down a garage, and this was one of the pieces of wood that came off of it. So it's really reclaimed. The paint has chipped for a number of years, and we're using this as our base to kind of paint a farmhouse style sign. So if you are looking for something like this, you may have trouble finding it, but because it is really old to get this exact look. But there are a number of different ways that you can achieve this. I know that milk paint is designed so that you can chip it very easily, so you may want to look into that. And then there's another, in my blog post for this tutorial, there's another kind of technique that I put a link to in the blog post so you could see. But we're just going to be using this as our base, and I'm going to show you how I stencil with it. So I've already done a lot of it just because I didn't want to waste time sticking a bunch of these stickers on. So I just want to show you how I made this. We are using the Silhouette Cameo today. And let me make sure my...
All right, well, while you're doing that, people from Dublin, Ireland have joined.
Awesome.
Lots of Ireland people.
Dublin.
It's midnight. Some people are putting funny things on their sign, like, welcome to the nut house. Enter at your own risk was someone else who chose what they would do on their sign.
Yeah, that's a great one if you're putting this on your front door. Sorry, guys.
You always get this question. What is that?
What is this? Okay, so yeah, let me just give a little bit of backstory here. This is a Silhouette Cameo that we're using, and this is like a paper cutter. Here's what it looks like when it's closed. This is an older version, so if you were to buy this version today, it would probably look just slightly different, but it does the same thing. These machines come with these mats, and they're sticky, and you just put your whatever you're going to be cutting on top of it, and it kind of sticks down. And I've already cut it to the right size that we need. And this is what we're using for our stencil right here. It looks like this. It's just a roll, and this is actually adhesive shelf liner or contact paper, and I get mine at the Dollar Tree, so it's really inexpensive. I've made so many signs out of just this roll. So it's a really affordable way to use an alternative to like the vinyl and stuff like that. It's kind of spendy, so this is just a cheaper way, and I'm going to show you a great way how to use this and get your sign super crisp, the paint lines. So you put it in your machine here, you push load. Uh-oh, I saw that peeling up right there. That's going to be an issue. Okay, my sticky, I probably need to be replacing my mat soon. The stickiness is starting to wear off. Okay, then it's hooked up to my laptop here, which has a software where I do the design. Sorry, the connection says it's not working, so the computer fell asleep here, so there we go, start. Okay, so I'm just going to put start on my computer, and it's actually going to cut out the design for me. So it's a really incredible machine. It makes sign making a lot easier.
Too loud.
Yeah, close that. It's pretty quick. This machine, to buy the starter bundle with all the like cool accessories, it runs about $199, I think, somewhere in that range, on Amazon, or you can probably get it at other stores too. But so while that's cutting it out, where this, you probably can't tell what this says yet, but it says Rub-a-Dub-Dub, which is what we're going to be painting on this sign. Again, this is kind of a sign designed for a bathroom. I made one just like this for our farmhouse style bathroom that you can check out on our blog. So that's kind of the reasoning behind the saying on our sign. But yeah, you could choose anything you want. That's what I love about the silhouette, is that you can really customize it. You can design your own stuff. You can really get creative. And your signs look really professional. I mean, I sell my signs, so it's a great way to make signs. Okay, so this just kind of punches out here, and now you can see why I've kind of done most of the stencils, just because this part's kind of tedious. I didn't want you to have to watch me like do this to every single letter, so we're just gonna do it to the last few here. And if you're wondering about the settings for what I was doing for the Rub-a-Dub-Dub, this specific sign, the font I'm using is Baskerville Oldface, which is not a special font. You should have it on any of your Windows computers already pre-installed. And that was Baskerville Oldface is the name of the font. The size that I'm using is 325. And the cut settings for the silhouette are, I'm just cutting using the vinyl setting. So I don't make any adjustments to the cut settings once I just choose vinyl. And it works perfect for this adhesive shelf liner that I use. So I've messed around with it a little bit, but this just is the perfect setting. Okay, so I'm just gonna flip this around because I feel like I'm gonna mess it up if I do upside down. Okay, so I've already kind of measured out how I want my signs, but I just want to show you how I kind of get my baseline. I figured out where I wanted the letters, and I just cut this piece of paper instead of using a tape measure, just because I seem to misplace the tape measure. And then I'm using a piece of chalk, and I'm just making a little chalk line, and this is where the bottom of my letters are going to go. And this is just so I keep a nice straight line. And then it's really faint, but I can see it, and it brushes off if I mess up, and I can paint over it, so that's why I use that. Okay, so we're just gonna peel this off, and then I'm gonna show you how I seal the signs. So that's gonna be our next step here. So any questions in the comments or any more giveaway answers? The giveaway question, I don't know if I mentioned it, but I'm sure they dropped it in the comments. The giveaway question today that we want you answering in the comments is, what would you paint on your sign? So we'd love to know what you guys would paint on a wood sign. We're making two different kind of signs, but yeah, let us know in the comments, and we're gonna pick a winner, and they'll announce it in the comments a bit later in the video.
Yeah, people were wondering what happened with the heart.
The heart. Okay, so because we're doing, this is a live video, so because we're doing actual projects that require some dry time, we're going to be bouncing back and forth between these two projects. So these are two different types of signs that we're going to be making throughout the video. So we kind of have to jump back and forth so we give stuff a chance to dry. Okay, so you can see I'm just using my chalk line as the baseline for where I want my letters. And then I just kind of line everything else up accordingly. And this shelf liner contact paper that I'm using is kind of repositionable, which is great. Once you put it down, you know, you can lift it back up if you need to adjust things, which I love. Okay, then we just can't forget to put in the middles of our letters. So the B and the D have a middle here. So I'll set this one in here.
Some more answers. Life is beautiful.
Oh, I love that. I actually have a sign that I've made that says that before.
Yeah, someone says beware of the kids, forget the dogs. I guess we'll need one of those soon.
Yeah.
Ooh, or we don't do drama. That's a really good one.
Oh, I like that. We don't do a lot of drama in this house. Well, you'd probably disagree with me. Okay. All right, so I'm going to show you this awesome trick for how to seal your stencils so they don't bleed. This was a problem that I was running into making stencils, and they would just bleed, and it was so frustrating. I wasn't even having a fun time crafting anymore. And especially with this, when you're using like a reclaimed wood where it's not necessarily even, you're definitely going to run into some bleeding if you were just to paint this. So this is our little trick. So Mod Podge to the rescue, and I actually just use my finger to put it on. You could probably use a paintbrush, but I just always use my finger. So this is, it doesn't really matter what type of Mod Podge you use, but this one is a matte. And as you can see, I've got the big container because I use Mod Podge a lot. So all you really do is, what you're trying to do is create a seal where your stencil meets the wood on all the edges. So this is just, you're putting it on pretty light, but you're just pressing it. And you also want to be sure you press the stencil down pretty hard when you're putting it in. That's another good tip too. So I would love to know if you guys, I don't know, I've shown this kind of technique of sealing the stencils in a couple different Hometalk videos, so some of you guys may have already seen me do this before, but if you haven't seen me do this, I would love to know if you guys already knew about this trick, this little hack. I don't know, I heard about it a few months ago, and it's been kind of a game changer for me, because it really makes sign making a lot easier. So let me know if you guys have heard of this technique, or if this is the first time you're seeing it.
They just want to know of other ways to apply it, like a brush.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think people want to get sticky fingers.
Okay, you could just use a foam brush. I mean, that works too. But I've had a hard time washing the foam brushes off after I use a Mod Podge, so I'd rather not waste another paintbrush. So this works just fine. Yeah, but I mean, I've always got paint or something on my hands. I'm not really too concerned about them. Okay. So we're almost done sealing the sign, and then we're going to hop back over to the heart sign that we started making at the beginning, and we're going to start working on that ombre technique that I was talking about. So keep answering in the comments. We're definitely going to pick a winner here near the end of the video. Okay. Almost done, guys. Okay.
Very nice.
All right, and as I mentioned in the beginning, I just want to mention it again, that the heart sign that you're going to see here in a minute, I'm going to hop back over to it. We are actually giving this away to one of you guys. So I don't really have a need for this little heart sign in my house, so I decided to give it to one of you guys. So Jordan, we'll probably put a link in the comments, Hometalk, for how you can enter, but you just go over to my blog, which is makingmanzanita.com, and you can enter to win this cool sign. So I'm going to show you how we do this ombre technique. So I've got two different brushes, and these are really old, just like super cheap chip brushes, I think they're called. And I like this style rather than the foam brush for this technique we're doing, just because you can get a little more of the bristle action with this. Okay, so we're going to be doing darker at the bottom and lighter at the top. And how I'm going to achieve this is just by mixing the paint colors. So I just do it on a paper plate here. So let's start with the bottom, which is going to be darker. And you do this by just mixing in white and black paint. So with the black, you just honestly want to do just a tiny little drop. And then you just kind of mix it with your paintbrush. Okay, and that was probably not enough paint, but we'll just do one layer with this color. Okay, so then you're just gonna go, this is dry now, we did one paint of the base color, and you're just gonna kind of go from the bottom, and you can put it on heavily at the bottom. Yeah, I'm gonna need more paint. Heavily at the bottom, and just kind of lighten on your paintbrush on the way up. Okay, let me just mix a little more paint here as we go.
Can you multitask?
Can I multitask? What do you mean?
So a lot of people are asking questions about the Mod Podge trick with the stencil.
Yeah, you guys just keep watching me. I'm just going to keep painting and adding in and kind of layering the colors as I answer questions, okay?
They want to know, how do you get your paint to not peel afterwards?
Like the paint underneath.
When you paint your rub-a-dub-dub with black or whatever, how do you get the black to stay down and not peel up with the Mod Podge?
I have only had trouble with that one time, and it was when I was trying this technique on metal. I was painting metal, that mailbox.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I had all the paint peel up with it. I have never had that happen to me when I'm working with wood. I am doing light, you know, you always want to do light coats. You don't want to do too heavy of either the paint or the Mod Podge. So keep things light. Let the coats dry entirely. Like right now, the Mod Podge is drying entirely before we hit it with the paint. That may be helpful. So I don't really know how to answer that because I've only had that happen when I'm not working with wood. So I don't know if they were working with wood or another type of material, but
I think you answered it.
Okay.
I think working and not working outside helps too, because if it's hot, it gums up.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you want to try to, I mean, unless your paint is like highly, I don't know, smells bad. Unless you're using like spray paint or something, like try to keep it inside where the temperature is like constant. Okay. All right, guys, so that's kind of our darker color that we've faded up, and I just get lighter on the brush as I go up. And I'm gonna let that dry just because I don't want to mess it up with the multiple layers. So we're gonna let this dry. We're gonna hop back to our chippy paint sign. And as I said, this is a live, so we are kind of jumping back and forth between two projects today. So we're just gonna have to deal with it. All right, so we cut this stencil out using the Silhouette Cameo. If you're just joining us, we sealed the sign using Mod Podge, and I just used my finger to apply it. And the Mod Podge is all dry, so now we're going to do the paint. And I'm just using, this is just a black, again, an acrylic craft paint. And you just paint in your letters here. And even though we've sealed it, I still try to be pretty careful. And by that, I just mean I don't glob on, I don't put a lot of paint on this paintbrush. I try to keep it light. I try to, if possible, paint away. See how I'm painting like towards the stencil rather than like pushing? That kind of will help with the bleeding. But since we did seal this, we shouldn't have much bleeding, if any. So I usually I just kind of do however many coats I think it needs. For the sign that I've made, for this exact sign that's already in our bathroom, I think I did 2 coats of the black, and that was plenty. So that's what we'll probably do today. So it goes pretty quick here. So if you guys have questions, feel free to pop them in the comments. We're going to try to get through all your questions today. And I always go through the comments later after the video. So if we miss something today or my husband doesn't see it, I'll definitely try to get to it later. Sometimes there's lots of comments and we can't see them all during the live.
Yeah, repost your question, because I can only see 3 comments at once.
Yeah, I mean, we're working with a little iPhone screen here, so, and I know there's thousands of you guys out there asking questions, so.
I know a lot of people ask, what do you seal this with after you're done?
Okay, yeah, I was definitely going to hit that at the end, but I'll tell you now since we're just sitting here painting. To seal this, I used a hard coat Mod Podge. And the hard coat's kind of designed for more outdoor projects, so it works great in like a bathroom. And I just brushed on a really thick layer. I think I may have done two layers of the Mod Podge to coat it. And what else?
I'm going to show them what you made the stencil with. You made it with the Silhouette Cameo.
So another alternative brand is the Cricut. And I used to have a Cricut many years ago, so I can't really speak to what they're like now. But from everything I've read and the research I've done, the Cameo, the Silhouette products, and the Cricut products are very similar. So I know there's a lot of blog posts out there kind of comparing the two. So that's a question I get a lot too. Is what's the difference between the two? They're very similar, just different brands.
And people want to know if you painted the wood underneath before.
I did not. And I mentioned that a little bit earlier. This is actually a really, really old piece of reclaimed wood off of a garage that we tore down. Well, you tore down. I didn't really help. So it's just, it's been naturally chipped over the years. There are some techniques out there if you want to kind of recreate that look. One method that I would recommend checking out, although I haven't tried it personally, is milk paint. I know that paint is designed so that you can easily like chip it to get this look. So I'm just going to set this aside again. We're going to let it dry before we do one more coat, and we're going to hop back into our other sign today, which is our little heart ombre style here. And just a reminder, you can enter to win this cool sign over at my blog, makingmanzanita.com. So we are making this for one of you lucky winners out there. All right, so now we're gonna layer on the lighter color, which is at the top. So I just put my original base color, which is this sea glass color. And to make it lighter, I'm just adding in white paint. And the paint I'm using today, all the paint I'm using in all the signs is just acrylic craft paint. So it's pretty reasonably priced. One question that I do get a lot is, can you use chalk paint for these type of signs? And you totally can. I love chalk paint and I use it all the time for making, like, I use it for furniture. I've got some bar stools out in our garage right now that I'm painting with chalk paint. I typically don't use chalk paint for signs just because it's kind of expensive when compared to this craft paint, and I don't think you really need the durability for signs like this because there's no wear and tear. So that's kind of why I use this paint. All right, so as you can see, I took my base color, I added in white, and then I put it on this like old bristle brush, and we're just gonna apply this kind of to the top. And as you can see, when compared to the base color underneath, it's definitely a lot lighter. You want to do it heavier at the top. We'll probably need to load them somewhere here. Alrighty. Kind of getting that ombre effect. So, and this is just kind of, I don't know, it's a really fun sign. It's just different. I haven't really seen a lot of, ombre is kind of like everywhere. There's like ombre hair and ombre nails, but you don't really see it a lot in home decor. So I just thought it was kind of, and this is very subtle. These colors are not that in your face. So there we go. And I'm just gonna kind of very lightly brush over where the darker color comes up. And that's just to create the gradient kind of effect.
People want to know where you actually got this heart.
Yeah, I don't think I mentioned that. Great question. I got this at Michael's. And it's the Art Minds brand, which is the Michael's. I think they're specific to Michael's. You may be able to get it on Amazon. But this, yeah, it's just, they have it for sale right now. The original sign that I painted, which I'll show you here in a minute, for our farmhouse bathroom, they didn't have this style anymore. It was like a circle. So this was just an alternative. It's very similar style. And the sign was about, I think it was like $5.99 when I bought it earlier this week. And I used a coupon to, I think, get it like 40 or 50% off. So pretty reasonably priced. And then I had the craft paint already, but those are usually like $1 or $2 for all of that. So we're looking at a reasonable sign here. All right, so I'm really happy with the way that the kind of gradient looks. If you wanted to do some more layering, you totally could. I think it looks fine. I think maybe in the middle, we just need a little more. There we go. So I'm actually not gonna stencil anything on this sign just because we don't really have time today with the two signs we're making. And the person who wins this sign, I'm gonna ask them what they want me to stencil on it. So it'll be a custom sign just for them. So that's I'm going to stencil something on this later, but that's kind of the finished product. And then when we're done, I would probably seal it with, I don't have it with me, it's in the garage right now, but I just use like a Krylon clear coat. It's in the spray paint section, and it just sprays right on. It's a really easy way to seal painted signs like that. Okay, so we're gonna hop back into this other chipped paint sign that we were making. So it's pretty much dry, but we're just gonna do one more coat, and then we'll wrap it up here. All right, so do you guys have any more questions about the methods we're using? I'm gonna start over here because this is where I started last time. Keep answering the giveaway. We haven't chosen a winner yet, so let us know what you guys would paint on a sign if you're making one. So we'd love to know kind of what your guys' ideas are. Okay. And again, I just use a foam brush. And then if you're just tuning in, I know some of you guys are late, so we made this stencil using the Silhouette Cameo, which is like a paper cutter. We made it with the gray stuff right here is adhesive shelf liner, which I get at the Dollar Tree. It's like a sticky contact paper, and that's what I use to make the cutout for the stencil. And then we're using foam brush and acrylic craft paint for the paint today, and it's just a black.
People want to know if they could make the heart, or do you make the heart, or can you make a heart?
Yeah, you could totally make a heart. You would need a jigsaw. Is that the right tool name?
I'd probably use a scroll saw. It'd be
scroll
easier.
saw? Okay. So yeah, a scroll saw to make it, and yeah, if you had the tools, you totally could. But it doesn't have to be a heart too. It can be, you can do that technique on any type of sign. I'm going to show you here at the end, the one that I've already made is a circle. So yeah, and I make signs primarily out of pallet wood. That's primarily what we use to make our signs. We're not using that today, but in the past when I've made wood signs, that's really what we typically use. So you could make it out of pallet wood. You can get really creative. I mean, any type of wood. I mean, this wood is from like over 100-year-old garage that got torn down. So really any wood is usable for home decor.
Yeah, and how many coats are on that?
So that was the second coat. And I'm gonna pull it up on the edge here just because we're kind of nearing the end of our video and I want you guys to be able to see the reveal of like the really crisp lines. I'm not gonna peel all of it off just because I like to wait until it's totally dry so I don't mess anything up. But since we're kind of wrapping up, I want to be able to show you guys what it looks like when it gets peeled up. So I'm just gonna do it over here in the corner. I'll probably push it right back down so I don't mess anything up. But this is the paint that's coming up with it just because it's really old. But as you can see, like super crisp lines, look at that. So that method, I mean, this is really old wood. It's very uneven. I did give it a light sanding before we started, but it's pretty uneven like wood. So that method of using the Mod Podge to seal it, it works pretty dang good. Mm-hmm. So I'm just gonna set this back down. I don't wanna mess it up. Okay, so I'm gonna pull out the one that I've already made so you guys can kind of see what it looks like when it's all peeled off and sealed. So this is what it looks like when it's all said and done. And it's the exact same size sign, very similar type of wood, and same saying, same font size, everything is pretty much the same. I did, to seal this, as I mentioned earlier, I did a couple coats of Mod Podge hard coat. Definitely since this is going in a bathroom, I did it pretty heavily. I think I did maybe 2 or 3 coats of it because it's, you know, the moisture of the bathroom. So if you wanted to do this in a bathroom, I'd recommend either a Mod Podge hard coat, another type of really heavy sealer, maybe a polyacrylic that could brush on. Don't do a polyurethane because that'll be yellowed. You don't want that yellowing. So I'm just going to show you the back of it too. You guys probably know about these, but if you don't, you need to. These are the Command, the 3M brand Command strips. I use it to hang almost everything in our house. So that's what we use to hang this, and it works great. You could also do like a sawtooth hanger. They sell those, and then you would just nail that in, and it would be like the little picture hangers. So that's what that looks like when it's all done. I'm going to show you my the ombre kind of painted one. That's how we did this one. And as I mentioned, this is a circle. They don't sell this specific circle anymore, but that's the same technique that we use to make this heart today. So same colors and everything. And instead of painting something on here, I did this wire decor. And I actually just attached this with fishing line. You may be able to see it, but that's how it kind of looks invisible right there. And it's just tied around the back, the fishing line. And again, I use the 3M command strips to hang that.
And what do you seal these signs with again?
What do I seal them with? This was sealed with just like this Krylon brand spray. It's like acrylic coating, and it's in the spray paint section. And then this one was sealed with a Mod Podge hard coat, and I just wiped it on with foam brush. So you could do Mod Podge on this too, but I just didn't. I kind of jump back and forth between those two sealing. And this actually, this You and Me, as cute as it is, they don't sell it anymore. So I bought it like a year and a half ago, maybe at Michael's. So I tried to find it online when I was posting my blog post to try to tell people where to buy that, and I couldn't find it anywhere. So I think you're out of luck, but I did find an Etsy store that makes like very similar, the wire decor letters. So you could, and she sells them for really cheap, so you could probably order one from her. I linked to her in my blog post for that sign. So I think we're about done here today. I had so much fun with you guys. And I just want to remind you guys before we step off that this sign is out for one of you guys to win. I will stencil on whatever you guys want, a saying, your name, anything. It's custom. So you can enter that giveaway at makingmanzanita.com. That's makingmanzanita, like the manzanita bush.com. So I think Hometalk put the giveaway winner in the comments.
Wendy Daniels won.
Wendy, congratulations. So Wendy, to win your giveaway prize, Hometalk is going to reach out to you directly, so keep an eye on your Facebook messages today and probably tomorrow, just so you can get your giveaway prize. I think that's about it today. So when I wrap up, there's going to be a button that says subscribe. So you guys definitely want to subscribe, and then you will get notified every single time that Hometalk goes live. And they go live like a few times a day with really fun projects to watch. So hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you next time.